Welcome to my world, where you will experience an atmosphere of love, relevant subjects, and motivation. So let's talk about things that matter. What matters to you matters to me. Well, how many know that there is a difference between sympathy and empathy? Oftentimes we think that they mean the same thing, but honestly, they really don't. Now, they are both connected in the sense of love, but empathy always surpasses sympathy. Would you like to learn more about that today? I would like to help you understand. My name is Henry Harris. Welcome to the Brother Henry and You Show. As many of you know, we're going to talk about a wonderful series called Emotional Awareness, helping everybody, even myself, to identify those emotions, to help us express those emotions, but to help us understand how important our feelings and our emotions are. So today we're going to go into part 2, and we want to talk about the difference between sympathy and empathy. Is there a difference in those words, sympathy and empathy? What do you think? Or does both words have similar meanings? Let me give you the definition of empathy, and I'm going to give you the definition of sympathy. The word empathy means the ability to feel what another person is feeling. It literally means, this is empathy now, it literally means to walk a mile in someone else's shoes. It also means to recognize the suffering of another. And this is associated with shared emotions. Now, this is what sympathy means. Sympathy is the feeling or expression of concern for someone, a level of concern, a simple expression of sorrow. Sometimes we think we are offering empathy, when in reality, it's sympathy that we're offering. But it's even more confusing when you are unable to know the difference in both the words. So let's dig just a little bit deeper into this. It's important to know that empathy always, somebody put that in the comment section. Empathy always surpasses or exceeds sympathy. There are things empathy can do that sympathy will never be able to do. So here's a quote. I think all have empathy. This is what Dr. Maya Angelou said. She says, I think we all have empathy. We may not have enough courage to display it. Woo, I love that. That was powerful. Dr. Maya Angelou says, I think we all have empathy. We just don't have enough courage to display it. And that's the thing. Anybody can be sympathetic. You can fall and break your leg. Oh, I'm so sorry. What was sympathy? An expression of sorrow. Oh, I'm so sorry that happened to you. But you know what empathy is? Empathy is walking a mile in their shoes. I know what it feels like to have a broken leg. I can share that emotion with you because I've been there. That's why I said empathy always surpasses sympathy. I am not by any means undermining the importance of being sympathetic. I think it's a great thing that you're sympathetic. But I truly believe in my heart that what hurting people today are looking for, they want somebody that'll be able to feel, and if you go back to the definition of empathy, the ability to feel what another person is feeling. People that are hurting are looking for somebody that will be able to feel, and not only feel, but to be able to recognize the pain, not just an expression of sorrow. It doesn't mean that they don't care. I'm glad that you feel sorry for me. You know, it's just like when someone passes away. Let's say somebody's mother passed away. You can say, I'm so sorry that your mom passed away, you know, and you can blah, 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 whatever you want to talk about. But it's another thing when empathy comes into picture, because empathy is like, you know what, my mom passed away. Let me tell you how I feel. Let me tell you how I dealt with that. I've been there. I walked a mile in those shoes. Or even divorce. You can feel sorry for me. That's what sympathy is. Sympathy is the feeling or expression of concern for someone, a level of concern, a simple expression of sorrow. You can feel sorry for me that I've been through divorce, that I've been through pain, that I've been through hurtful situations, that I've been through devastating circumstances, that I've experienced heartbreak. You can feel sorry for me. I appreciate that. But what I need your empathy. I need that shared emotion. I need to know that you know what I've been through. I need you to feel and recognize the pain that I'm feeling. So it's nice that you show concern, but showing empathy is what ultimately produces healing in the person's heart. I don't want you to just hear what I am saying, but I want you to feel. Wow, this is powerful. I want you to be able to feel what I'm saying. And that's the difference between sympathy and empathy, because sympathy, you hear what they're saying, but you don't feel what they're saying. Wow. I'm sorry if I'm getting over passionate about this subject. I'm just excited. I don't want you to just hear me. I want you to feel me. It's not enough to just tell me, oh, I feel sorry for you. I'm sorry you went through this. No, tell me how to get through this. How did you make it through those dark hours and those dark seasons in your life? I don't need you to feel sorry for me. I need you to be relatable to me in my struggle, in my weakness, in the pain that I am currently experiencing. Now again, I'm not knocking folks who are sympathetic. Many people are sympathetic. I think we have a very few people that are empathetic. I need you to place yourself into my world. That's empathy. Because if you're in sympathy, you are on the outside of their world, because you can't relate to how I'm feeling. You can't relate to my pain. You can't relate to my struggle, because you are on the outside of my world. You're not on the inside of my world. You don't know what it feels like. You don't know what I feel like. You don't know the pain that I'm going through. You don't know the struggle that I'm going through, because you're on the outside looking in. So I need you to understand that feelings and thoughts and emotions I'm having. What are some examples of empathy and sympathy? And I wrote this down and I really like it. Empathy means I've been there. Sympathy means I haven't been there. Empathy means I've been there. In other words, you can relate to how they're feeling. You can relate to their struggles. You can recognize their pain. I've been there. But sympathy, you really haven't been there. You really don't know what it's like to go through what I'm going through. You can sit back all day and feel sorry for me, but that's not what the world wants. All of us, in some ways, we have empathy, but we just don't have the courage, as Dr. Angelou said, to share it. I want to push you today to bring that part of yourself out of you, where you're able to share in someone else's feelings, sharing someone else's pain, sharing someone else's emotions. Here's an example of both. For example, when someone loses a loved one, you feel sympathy towards the person and their family. You may share a feeling of sadness with them, but you might not have empathy for their situation if you haven't experienced what they've went through or can even imagine experiencing. Empathy is much stronger than sympathy. Empathy simply means feeling into. That's the German word for empathy. It also means empath, which is a person with a paranormal ability to apprehend the mental or emotional state of another person. Are you an empath? I believe that I am. There are different types of empath. And I ask myself, well, how is this connected to emotional awareness? It's very connected because we all can be empathetic towards different things. But maybe you are an empath, but you may not know what type of empath that you are. Here are some examples of empathy. Number one, you acknowledge their pain. Number two, you share how they feel about their pain or feelings. And number three, be encouraging. Example, I understand that you've lost your father, and I'm sad to hear this news. I know exactly what you're going through because I lost my father 2 years ago. Can we talk about that? That's empathy. You're helping that person to heal. Those are some examples of empathy. You acknowledge their pain, what they're going through. You share in their pain and the emotions that they're feeling. And you also want to look for ways where you can encourage them. So here's some examples of sympathy. Number one, you acknowledge their pain. It's similar to empathy, but just slightly different. Number two, you express sorrow or concern. After all, that's all you can do, especially if you haven't been through what they've been through. Number three, you share your feelings with them. For an example, we are sorry for your loss. I'm going to really miss him too. Sending prayers and comfort your way. You're in my thoughts. Those are just a few things that you could say that could really help. There are three types of empathy or empaths that are very important. You have the cognitive, and that is about thought as much as emotion, knowing, understanding, or comprehending on an intellectual level. You have emotional, and that is the ability to fully take on the emotional and mental state of another. And you have compassionate. Use your emotional intelligence to correctly respond to a situation. You see a person's predicament, but you are moved to help them if needed. There's so much more I can say on this subject alone, but I believe that I've covered much grounds today in teaching the difference between both of the words. So I believe that you do have empathy, but do you have the courage to display it? Join me next week as we go into part 3 of our series, Emotional Awareness. And next week is going to be really good because we're going to talk about the danger of internalizing our feelings.
Hi, if you like what you're seeing today, be sure to connect with Brother Henry at www.facebook.com/The Brother Henry and You Show. And also be sure to check out and subscribe to his YouTube channel, which is www.youtube.com/Henry Harris 100. We hope that this has been a blessing to you, and we hope to hear from you soon. Keep watching because what matters to you matters to Brother Henry.